All right, it is August 25th, 2025. I am just going to record a quick video here. This should only take a few minutes. This is a property in Colorado they're interested in. I believe it's like an eightplex. We were just looking at properties that may have some type of seller financing, mortgage method that we could take advantage of. This is a Keller Williams property, OM. So you'd assume like Keller Williams is a brand name group. And again, I'm never throwing shade at agents or anyone. It's just more of a, keep an eye out for things like don't trust the big name groups, right? The Marcus and Millichamps of the world, the Keller Williams, just because they're big brand names, it doesn't mean that the people who are working there actually are looking at these properties or doing any type of real due diligence. It's up to you to do that yourself. And so just wanted to show this quick because this is a perfect example of here's the financials that are in an OM, right? But conveniently, luckily in this case, they say pro forma on there. So the immediate assumption is that maybe these are not accurate. That are just projections, right? Because they're clearly stating it, but always assume that they are pro forma numbers until you actually see the due diligence. Sometimes they don't label it that way. In this case, they do. Not only does it seem like the financials are pro forma, but the rent rolls as well are pro forma, and we'll get into that here in a second. Why that's really important, especially on this property. And so they did send over the financials. These look like there's some type of like Appfolio financials that are getting pulled out. So it should be pretty good financials that are coming out. The software is usually pretty good. So first thing that I looked at, again, this is kind of always standard, is I go down and I try to find out what the actual NOI is versus what they're telling me. They're saying $131,000. This is their 2024 income statement. And if you see here, their NOI in 2024 is $93,000. So pretty big difference, about $40,000 difference, especially on a property where they're asking 1.8 million. That what's the actual cap rate on actuals there? Let's get my calculator out real quick and do the math. 93, 592 divided by 1.8 million. That puts it at a 5.2 cap, right? So just on that one change, looking at their NOI, I think on this net income, because we actually could see their portfolio expenses, it looks like they're pulling out mortgage expenses here. You can see they have their mortgage other in here, and that has like a certain amount, and I think they're adding that back in because otherwise it would be that 51, 46. So the 93,000 seems accurate. But again, that puts it at a 5.2 cap, not a 7.3 cap, which is what they're advertising. And when I go look at their 2025 financials, which it kind of becomes even more interesting, is they have the Q2 and Q1 financials for 2025. So this is through June. It's currently August, so not that far behind where we are today. They show their rental income, and looking at this rental income compared to their previous rental income, which was kind of sitting around, it looks like $12,000 up to like $20,000 a month. They're looking at, this is looking at about $10,000 a month, 10 or 11,000 a month. And when the property is, and I verified that against their rent rolls. So this is their current rent roll versus what they're showing here, which I think this property has 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11, 12 units. So it's 12 plex. They have 12 units, but they only have 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8 of them rented currently. So they have 4 vacant units. This is making about $11,000 or so a month, I think, when I added it up. And that kind of tracks with what they're showing in their income statement. And when I come and look down here at their NOI level, their NOI now, and this is, here's their mortgage line item, right? So we have to kind of remove that out, right? We don't want to like take that in, and that's going to give us that 56,000. But even if I take that out, this is over 2 quarters. It's only profiting, the NOI is like less than $5,000. Right, on a $1.8 million property. So I mean, imagine what the cap rate is going to be on something like that. I multiply that by 2 for 2 quarters, and now you're looking at a cap. Cap rate's going to be like less than 1%. So Again, not a long video. This is just another example of looking at realizing what you're seeing in the OM, going and looking at the financials, making sure that the financials are actually telling you the same story as what's in the OM. Don't trust a brand name. Don't, whatever they say the cap rate is, assume that it's not correct. Right here, you can see a perfect example. The cap rate's, basically zero. So that's not a great sign. Thank you.